pre-rendered. That is, everything is rendered before and the final product is shown to the audience after it. But in games, everything is real-time rendered. The difference is that once the movie art is created, all the assets used for that can be literally thrown away. We don't need it anymore. Because the final product is a 2D video, but in games, into the game. Like in games, you can only use polygons. That is one of the specifications for games. But in movies, you can use different types of modeling like nubs modeling, spline modeling, patches, subdivisions. In games also you can use these techniques, but ultimately you have to convert them into polygons before putting in them inside the game easily. So that is one difference. Then you have to be very careful about any errors in these models because this might crash them inside the game, and also the assets needs to be optimized. Like in movies, you can use millions of polygons and huge textures to create the assets because the output is only a 2D video. The number of polygons or the size of the texture will not matter. But in games, since we are using the actual resource again and again, we need to optimize these assets to fit into one game. These are some of the artworks we created some 5 to 6 years back, very low poly and small textures. And this technique follows both in characters and environments. So while we are watching a movie, we are actually watching it in a 2D plane. There is nothing behind going on. But when you are playing a 3D game, you are actually inside the 3D environment interacting with actual 3D objects. That's why these objects need to be optimized and error-free. That's the basic difference. And the building blocks benefits of multi-texture I'm showing you. There are several other benefits of using multi-texture. This is just one. I'm just changing the jersey number of the character. Instead of placing a whole new texture just for that little change, I'm just adding a little texture, little alpha texture. It is a single mesh. It is not divided into separate parts. Then 550 triangles. The shape is coming out somewhat. Then 1000 triangles. Now it's somewhat looking like a human. And at last, in our latest game, Bruce Lee Dragon Warrior, we are able to use 3000 triangles per character. So you can see the huge difference from 184 triangles to 3000 triangles in our models. Also, the texture is also looking good because we have used normal map, specular maps, but that's a separate thing. This is one of those characters. 3000 was the poly limit. There was a buffer of 150 triangles. You can add that too. Now this is the evolution we saw in our batsman model for our cricket game. The left hand side, you see, it is somewhat looking between a human and a robot because it's made up of only 200 triangles. And the middle one, it's 550 or 600 triangles, I guess. And the rightmost is our latest model, that is the 1400 edition, but not in the terms of principles. The principles are the weight transfers, the IK and FKs, and the balance. Many principles are there. So these principles being same, the only thing that changed is the restrictions. Same we have seen in the polygon. We have restrictions over there. So I will share some restrictions that we see in the animation part of gaming. And by the way, all these animations are hand animations. That is, the animator have done this frame by frame. These are not motion captures. So these were from our earlier games. The four-leg characters very difficult to animate with hand. And this was one of the characters from our game, Sexy Fool. Not at all looking sexy. Instead looking some boxy character. Obviously because it is much problems that we faced in getting around.
That's February 2009, and this is using our own proprietary engine. This is to showcase actually what we could do. In fact, this game had the discussion and the AI and all those things. Now it's kind of problematic on the PC. So after this, I had shown this to the management, took their advice. Whatever limited creativity we had at that time, we did our best, and then of course some of the lessons which we learned, start prototyping as early as you can. Don't start making the game first. Make everything, every element should be there to prototype everything. And classes configurable is just testing. Then make small assets and start checking the performance of the PSP or whatever console you're making. Don't make the whole thing and then push it there and see how it works. You'll definitely get one of the place. So then add a lot of debugging support, invest in employee learning. We were very patient. We just gave enough. This has already been approved by Sony again. I'll not give much detail about this, except the fact that the humans have been enslaved, the earth is lifeless, robots have enslaved all the human beings.